Welcome to The Lift with Sheila Robinson Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Thanks so much, everyone, and welcome back. Manipulated by guilt. Manipulated by guilt. How to get off that train once and for all. Guilt trips. Guilt trips. Are you taking that ride now? Is anyone taking that ride now? I rode that train for many, many miles. And I must say, it is damn nice to get off that train and very refreshing. In this video, I want to explain the difference between righteous guilt, and guilt that is induced through manipulation. Because the truth is this: if someone can manipulate you, and sometimes this happens masterfully, if they can manipulate you through guilt, then they can turn you into their puppet. And once you are their puppet, you are putty in their hands. So I want to share 3 questions with you that will cut through any confusion you have, any haze, fog, or if you're in a daze about whether or not your guilt that you're experiencing is righteous or whether it is induced by manipulation. Here are those 3 questions. Then we're going to circle back. Number 1, have I been fair? Have I been fair? Second question is, have I been kind? And the third question is, have I hurt anyone intentionally? And if you answer any of those in the affirmative, guess what? You are experiencing righteous guilt. And righteous guilt is just an indication, hey, I have done something perhaps that I regret, I shouldn't have done. I have some business to take care of and set this straight. And that is righteous guilt. And sometimes, let's face it, we are human beings. We're all here stumbling and fumbling. As much as we fight to get it right, sometimes we're just going to get it wrong. And that's where the apologies come in, and we have to be straight up and deal with it. I had a situation some time ago, and I realized in just thinking about it and having these feelings of guilt running through me, something must be up here. And I did plug in my 3 questions. Have I been fair? Have I been kind? Did I do anything intentionally? Although I hadn't offended intentionally, I hadn't been fair. I had not been fair, or as fair as I thought I was originally, and I had to go back to this person and just have a sit-down conversation. And I have to tell you that over the years, as I have evolved and matured, I have a profound respect and appreciation for just owning it, taking ownership when you do something that it's not right, it's not fair. And I think that if you take that stance, it just makes your walk in life a lot more clean and clear. I can't lie and say that I've always had this stance, but just, life has a way of teaching us. And I went back to this individual and did offer a very sincere and heartfelt apology. She accepted it. Guess what? My guilt was gone the next day. So that guilt is tapping on your shoulders. And I want to say something about issuing your apologies. There's a difference between a heartfelt and sincere apology and one that is just kind of for performance sake, or your heart's really not into it. I think it's better just not to apologize at all if you really don't mean it, because most people, if their hearts are open, and depending on the nature of the issue you're dealing with, most people will forgive. They want to forgive. What they really need is to know that you understand what happened and you're serious about it, and it's not going to happen again. That's where people are afraid and frightened. So The other thing I'll say, if you come with an open heart and you issue that heartfelt, warm apology and they blast you or they don't forgive you, I have to say, then it's time to move on. You don't have to give anyone a pound of flesh because you have made an error or a mistake. And I know that some mistakes are different in degree. But that said, as human beings, we do have limitations. And, I don't know much more that you can do than, I'm so sorry. You respond to that guilt feeling with a heartfelt apology and you have to move on. So what happens when you're dealing with guilt feelings that are actually induced by manipulation? And again, it can be so difficult sometimes if this cycle has played itself over and over again to kind of differentiate. So you go into the 3 questions. I was working with a woman. She had a son, adult son, who was well into his 30s. This woman had worked as a single mom for most of his upbringing, had to be gone a lot. And this young man, her son, took it upon himself to hold this over her head, to the point where in his adult years he would not come spend time with her, be respectful to her unless there was some exchange of monies into his pocket. And she was just devastated because by the time she came to see me, her 401k was completely wiped out. And I asked, let me just be honest. I want to run these 3 questions by you. And you just answer from your heart. Have you been fair? Have you been kind? Did you hurt the boy intentionally? And she responded, Sheila, I have been more than fair and kind. I love him with my all. He's had the very best I can provide to him. Whenever he needs anything, I'm there. I'm attentive. I'm loving. It's just early on, I had to do what I had to do. I was a single mom. We could have been homeless if I didn't work the way that I did. And I said, well, ma'am, the truth is you are involved in a pay-to-play scheme with your son, and you need to get yourself off that train immediately. She got herself off the train. She told him her checkbook and the ATM was shut down. And guess what? He didn't talk to her for a year. He turned his back completely on her for a year. I want you to get ready. I want you to expect some pushback when you get off that guilt-induced by manipulation train, because people who have had you under control, they don't want to give that up. They don't want to give that up, but you're going to have to jump over that, have courage, ask those 3 key questions, and I'm telling you, life is hard enough. You do not need to go through life with a burden of manipulation, guilt, all of that intertwined. It's just too short. Get that monkey off your back. Have a wonderful life, and I'll see you next time.